Hello, class. This week we were tasked to review the book by George Marsden that we've been reading throughout this course that he titled The Outrageous Idea of Christian Scholarship. Marsden argues for the inclusion of Christian perspectives within mainstream academia, despite the long-standing resistance in religious viewpoints within the last century, especially within the last several decades. While I appreciate his arguments Marsden makes and understand his point from the Christian perspective, I do find it difficult to agree with his claim in promoting a Christian perspective in education. It may be just the government teacher in me or the millennial, but I do find it difficult to balance the respect for separation of church and state and contend to that constitutionalization, especially within the public education sector, which I teach in. But I do respect his arguments and what he does try to lay out in his book. I don't believe that it is impossible to have a Christian perspective in academia, but I do find it difficult to straddle that line that can easily go a little bit too strong to be religious and could challenge a lot of students and make it uncomfortable in that overstretching the balance of that separation of church and state in the classroom and public education, while in higher education, especially private schools, you have that ability to be more free with that perspective. But again, it's really my perspective and influence of being public education and being a government teacher where I find it difficult to agree with and contend to. However, as Marsden does explain, it is possible if it is approached in a way that enriches the academic lens as long as it is addressed scholarly and not religiously. Nevertheless, as Marsden said, especially in the first chapter, historically Christian ideas were central to the foundation of higher education, but since the 20th century, secularism has become the dominant ethos, leaving little room for this Christian scholarship to expand and be a part of the academic rigor. The shift was reinforced by stereotypes like science versus religion and by the rise of multiculturalism and liberalism, which discouraged religious expression in academic settings, particularly due to the concerns of separation of church and state, as I have already expressed. Marsden contends that Christian scholarship can align with the pluralistic nature of the academy, and he argues that religious perspectives are as valid as any other ideological scholarship, as long as they adhere to the standards of intellectual exchange of scientific inquiry. And that is his great point, in that as long as it stays to those standards of academics and scientific inquiry, it can be a fruitful conversation and can still contend to the Constitution without breaking that separation of church and state, as long as it's blended within the academic rigor and standards and offers other perspectives. But once it does get brought up in schools, it does tend to allow for an opportunity for it to overlap that blend. However, Christian values, while influencing scholars' priorities and assumptions, can enrich academic work, which he argues, by providing a different lens through which to approach scholarly questions. And theology, though not the sole focus, can offer valuable insights, as Christian doctrines like creation and human nature can contribute to a more holistic understanding. And then finally, he concludes that the need for Christian scholars to build strong academic communities to support and sustain their work without institutional backing and networks, the Christian perspective does risk being drowned out in secular academic environments. So again, it's a great topic that Marsden brings up, and it's certainly a valid question and argument that do we balance the constitutionality of separation state versus eliminating the perspective? Certainly we want to still offer the perspective, but maintaining that academic lens is essential for it to be done correctly. But I hope you all enjoyed the reading of the book this course, and maybe we have similar but also probably different perspectives. So hope you all enjoyed the course and look forward to working with you all in other courses. Bye.